Welcome back to Newcastle Fans TV, everyone. We're continuing our Carabao Cup final build-up now with former Newcastle defender Sebastien Bassaong. Seb, great to see you again. What a weekend in store.
Yeah, it's an amazing weekend ahead. I think the whole city, even the whole country, because there's Newcastle fans all over the country and all over the world. They're all overexcited and they can't wait to be Sunday.
I don't know if you saw the two semi-final legs, but as a former Newcastle player in the dark days, how did it make you feel once that final whistle went and Newcastle were back in a Wembley Cup final?
You want the truth or the political answer?
I kind of want both now.
On both? Ah, okay. I'll start with the political answer. So he felt great. I thought Newcastle deserved it, and overall, it's it's well deserved. It's a great, not an achievement yet, but it's a great step toward an achievement. And the the personal reaction was like, "Oh yes, come on, lads! It's been I was really happy. I was thrilled. I was buzzing because it's been so long. It's been so long, and people have been trying, and it's only right. And I felt straight away about the fans because I know the passion around this club. It's something not tangible, and that's how I felt. I was like, oh, I felt like a fan for a minute. You know what I'm saying? So that was good. Yeah.
The build up to the final from a Newcastle perspective has kind of been overshadowed by our situation with the goalkeepers. I know you probably would have been watching the Liverpool game last week. What was your reaction when Nick Pope received a red card and the realization dawned on us that he's going to be missing for the cup final? Not to mention Martin Dubravka cup tied.
My reaction was like, but I didn't realize it was. I mean, straight because I was thinking just about the game. Because as a football player, you take one game at a time. But then when I realized he was gonna be missing for the cup final, I was like, oh, this is a even triple punishment. It's like that was really bad. But in a way, like the misery or the bad thing about somebody makes somebody else happy. That's how life works. And sometimes you got to step up in life in very awkward and non-expected situations. And that's what football is about. Everyone which is professional, which is in this Newcastle squad, is a quality player. And I'm not saying that just to big anyone up. He's a quality player. It's just a matter of mindset. It's a matter of self-confidence and self-belief. Apart from that, for me, there's whoever's going to play is going to have the chance and the opportunity to shine and to bring one home to Newcastle. What a chance to be a hero.
An amazing chance. I mean, it looks like it's going to be Loris Karius, who obviously it's pretty well documented when he was at Liverpool. The last game he played in the Champions League final, he had a bit of a mare. So as a centre-back, if it was you walking out and he was behind you in the sticks, would you have any concerns?
Once again, as I'm retired, I can speak freely. I can speak freely. I think the miss of Nick Pope would be more of a worried than the fact that to have Loris Karius in the goal, because Nick Pope has been instrumental in Newcastle, form and success this season with the back four. And I'm a defender. I'm always going to praise the back four. They've been amazing, but they're a whole unit. Now knowing that whoever comes in, it's a new goalkeeper, so you need habit. You need, you need, yeah, you need to work. You need to work to have all those understandings. So I wouldn't be worried about the fact that it's Loris Karius. For me, he's a high quality goalkeeper. I would be a bit not worried, but a bit tense about okay, are we gonna understand each other real quick? You know, Because sometimes you just need to look. You don't need to talk because you've been playing with one another for so long that you know exactly when he's gonna come out, what kind of movement he does. So that's that's been created over the weeks and the month. So that's the fact. The fact to have a new goalkeeper coming in for such important game, Newcastle, and especially the background staff, the manager, they got to work on a lot of things in a very short period of time.
Yeah, yeah, it's a great point you make. It's great to get this insight from a former centre back. Um, on the kind of positive front, news today has broken that Miguel Almiron signed a new 3.5 year deal at Newcastle. What a player he's been this season, and players like that signing new contracts is always good news.
It's always good news because for me, he does represent the energy of the team. He's super energetic on the pitch. Even the way he control the ball and then he drive the ball, this all like he brings out energy, and I like that about him. I think that's the best season he's been playing with the Newcastle under the Newcastle shirt so far. From my perspective, that's the best. I was always expecting a little bit more from him on the about the end product, and this season his display has been amazing. I think the
Yeah,
self confidence, he goes with the team self confidence, the momentum, and he just explode and he fail. From the outside, he feels really free, free to do, free to think, free to act, and because he's a quality player and the team is doing really well, it goes hand to hand. So that's a really great news that he signed a new deal, and hopefully this year has been a trigger for him to improve because there's always room for improvement.
absolutely. Um, the game itself, where do you think the kind of key battle areas on the pitch? Where will this game be won and lost?
Is Bruno back?
Bruno is back.
Okay, is Bruno back? So I reckon the game's gonna be won in the midfield, and the ability that the Newcastle defense gonna have is gonna have to stop Manu attack because I'm not gonna lie, Manu is on fire at the moment.
Yeah.
Manu is on fire. Manu is on the way back. So I think the team is gonna hold his nerves the best. The team's gonna be able to not look at the game as the big final as it is because there's so many things in play outside of just playing a final. For Newcastle, this is we're talking about so many years without getting no silverware. For Man United, we're talking about the big Man United coming back, at the first place, winning silverware again. So there's different perspective. But for both clubs and institution, it means a lot. So the squad is gonna hold his nerves and put all those things aside and just play the game the same way they've been playing all those games that they won this season. Gonna be the team's gonna win.
You mentioned Bruno. Just how big of a deal is him returning from suspension and getting back in that Newcastle midfield? Because we've dearly missed him, haven't we?
You know when you know that a player is a massive component of the team, is whether he plays good or bad, he's been missed. Bruno, there's some games he's been, like not in form. There's some games he's been tremendously well, tremendously good. Most of these games have been amazing. But that's how important a player is. Everybody talks about him. Just his presence in the midfield. Sometimes when you're in the opposite team, when you look at the team sheet, so and you see that a key player is missing, unconsciously you feel like if there's some sort of a relief. Okay, he ain't there. But when you see that one or two key players take back, and you wish maybe they could be injured, but they're here, that plays into your mind. And that's exactly the same for with and for his teammates. When Bruno is there, they feel safer. They know that okay, that's an unconscious thing from the brain. Oh, because he's proved himself to be so good, so vital for the team. Now, whether it's at 50%, 70%, or 110%, the fact that he's there is vital for the team.
Yeah, everyone feels safer when Bruno's around. God, he's good. Another key player for us, I think, is Alan Saint-Maximin. He was one of the few kind of positive sparks in that last game in the defeat against Liverpool. On his day, could he just go out there and win us the cup?
Yeah, that's the kind of player who can win you the cup on his day. That's as simple as that. For me, he can turn things around. Against Liverpool, Newcastle were 10 men, and he was still a threat. That's the kind of player he can really travel with the ball, he can make things happen out of nowhere. So I'm happy that he had a couple of games before the final. He had a couple of games under his belt because Newcastle were on fire before he was coming on the bench. But now he started a couple of games, so he's kind of within a rhythm. And this kind of player, they must be thrilled when the final comes in because this is when it matters. They can win their team the game.
Yeah, it's definitely Max's time to shine. I think one more key battle area on the pitch that I want to talk to you about. There's no getting away from it. Marcus Rashford's one of the most informed players on the planet right now. I know he kind of limped off last night against Barcelona, but I think let's not get ahead of ourselves and we'll assume he's going to be fit and ready to play on Sunday. Just how much onus is on Kieran Trippier to keep Marcus Rashford quiet and contained in this final?
Honestly, not that much. Because for me, it's not a matter of Kieran Trippier. It's not a 1v1. It's a whole collective effort. The same way, if you talk about Marcus Rashford, for Kieran Trippier to not get past and contain Marcus Rashford, you got to stop the ball coming to Marcus Rashford. You know what I'm saying? So it's a whole collective effort. You can't really isolate Marcus Rashford. He's not going to take the ball from his own box and start dribbling past people. There's a whole, from the front, people got to stop. The source got to press really well, press together in order to isolate. And Kieran Trippier on a 1v1, I'm not worried for him. I'm not worried. He's a good right back. He knows his experience. They know each other. But it's if the whole team only focus on Rashford, this is when the problem is going to start. You shouldn't put so much emphasis on one player. If everyone does what he has to do at his best of their ability, yeah, it's game on. It's game on.
Okay, then. So just finally for you then, Seb, the big question. How is the game going to go and what's your prediction?
Oh, please. Okay. Here we go. Here we come. How the game's going to go and what's my prediction. I think Man U is favorite.
Yeah.
Man U is favorite because of the form they're in, because it's Man U and especially the form they're in. Now, I'd rather be the underdog. I love to be the underdog because you ain't got no pressure. The game, I think, is gonna be tight. It's gonna be tight for a while. It's gonna be a 1-0 Newcastle. And then I get my flight and my train up to the Georgia land and we're gonna party hard.
So you're going to come up on the Tuesday for the bus parade?
Oh, I'm gonna be around, that's for sure. If Newcastle wins the Carabao Cup, here I am. I come to Newcastle for sure.
Okay then. Well, if the game goes how you're going to go, we'll see you on Tuesday. But Seb, thank you very much for joining us again. It's been absolutely fantastic to speak to you, and fingers crossed your prediction is spot on.
Hopefully, we'll see.